Hi everybody, this is David. What I wanted to do is, I had somebody ask about me showing how I do the marble slump molds / bowls, vases, things of that nature, of how I mix the clay. There's a couple of different ways. Some of them I wedge together, and some of the other ones I put coils in a centered pot. But anyway, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show how I like to cut the marbled clay to kind of give it some definition, and how I go about applying both the clay bodies. I have two cone 5 clay bodies, and I like one of them I like is a B mix with grog. It kind of trims up nice. But anyway, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to real quickly here go through, and I'm going to combine the two clays and show you how I wedge them and then how I cut them. And then your options are really open. You can put them on a slump mold, you can put them on the wheel, you can trim a foot on them, what have you. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a couple of slabs here out of a stoneware. This is a stoneware that I like to use. It's about 10% grog. And then what I'm going to use is a brown clay body. Not quite as much brown as the white. I like a little bit more of the white to shine through, but just some chunks. I'm not really worried too much about trapping air too much, because I'll be wedging them out. Literally what I'll be doing is I'm going to combine the two clays and then wedge them together. So if you see how I kind of do it in random spots where I have black, white, or brown, white in this case. At cone 5 it turns black. But I just slap it right into the clay body, and even a little chunk, even if you rip it and maybe kind of place it to where you have white and then the brown, and then slap your other one on top of it. And then I like to go through and add opposite of what I did before, a couple of chunks. Then I'll turn it over and I'll add a little bit of more here. So what I'm doing is I'm sandwiching the clay body, and I'll smash it together to where it gets good and combined. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wedge this together, and it's really a timing thing. If you wedge too much, it's really going to be combined maybe too much to where you get too much of a model and not enough of a definition between the white and the brown. So if you see, I'll wedge it one way about 5 or 6 times, then I'll turn it and I'll wedge it a different way to get even consistency throughout. So whenever I'm wedging, I'll wedge this, and you can see how the clay is starting to streak into the clay body. Now usually about right here is where I'll start stopping, because you can see I've got a good streak of black and white. Then what I'll do is I'll wedge it to where I like it, and I'll turn it one time, and then I'll wedge it this way, and you can see how it starts to streak it in a different direction. Okay, you can see that I have a big patch of white, but the brown clay body is starting to do what I'm trying to get, that type of effect. Once I get it close and I get that wedge, and you can see where it's starting to bleed through a little bit, I know that I'm close to how much I want to wedge. Then I'm going to start slapping it into a flat form. Now what I normally will do is I will get this out flat, don't want to go too thin, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire cut this. So literally what I'm going to have is this effect. My edges are a little bit thin, so I'm going to take a roller and I'm going to roll this out just a little bit more consistent of what I want to achieve as far as thickness. So I'm going to make 2 out of this. What's going to happen is when I cut this in half, I'm going to have 2 pieces that I'll be able to work with, maybe 2 matching bolts. So what I'll do is I'll roll this out to the size that I want, and really I'm leaving it right at about maybe a 1/2 of an inch, 5/8, 3/4 is a little bit much. Stuff starts getting heavy. I'll roll it out to where it's consistent, and you can see where the clay is starting to get just a little bit muted. Okay, so I'm going to go a little bit thicker just for a demonstrational purpose. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how a couple of different ways you can cut it, and how I'll normally do it, and I'm able to gauge it, is I'm able to use a wire, okay, and I can put them underneath my fingers here and gauge it with my fingers here and cut it, or you can use different types of thicknesses of sticks. I could cut this thickness, whatever have you. So I'll try it. Let's see, maybe I can try and get it Sometimes I'll get it to where I'm able to slide the sticks with me as I'm cutting. And what I'll do is I'll take it and pull it very taut, real tight, into the clay body and cut straight through it, okay? As I'm cutting through it, I'm running these sticks right along with me, okay? Even thickness all the way through, easy at the end. What I'll do, I'll open this up, and what you'll find is the clay body streaks well. Now what happens is, where you see where the wire pulled through in a lot of these areas, after it's leather hard, you can use a tool to trim it up. You can use a light sandpaper or something of that nature. But what you'll find is we have two even thickness clay bodies. So I got about 1/4 of an inch, and you can make matching bowls if you wish. But what will happen is, what I will normally do is I'll take a bowl or something of some nature, and I'll take the bowl and I'll drape these over the top of the bowl and allow them to get leather hard. And whenever they get leather hard, I'm able to make, you know, a wave pattern or something that kind of indicates just a flopped candy dish bowl or something of that nature. What I'll do is I'll grab a bowl, and what I'll do is I'll take a finished bowl or bisque or plaster or whatever may be the case, and then what will happen is I'll take the bowl and I'll throw it and I'll lay my slab up over the top, just like that. And what will happen is I'll leave these flaps up and I'll let it dry exactly like that. Once it's leather hard and able to support itself, able to turn it upside down, trim your edges real good, and what you're left with is just a beautiful, beautiful marble bowl. I take these on the wheel and throw them. I'll slab roll with them, make masks out of them, anything of that nature. When I take and put them on the wheel to throw, I'll show you what I have done in the past is I've tried a brown clay body, I've tried a white, a brown, and a red clay body, and it'll marble in 3 different colors rather than 1. I'll show you a couple samples of that, but marbled clay, try it. It's so much fun. You'll love it. Clear glaze right over the top, and it's really cool. Some of the ones that I did in the past is some of these, the bowls, and you can see this has 3 different clay bodies in it. There's no glaze on it at all. That's all clay body. And what happens with this marbled effect when you trim a foot, and this is 3 different clay bodies, and so you can really see what they do whenever they're marbled. This has got a clear GL612 clear glaze over the top, and it really marbles really, really nice. When I use just the 2 like that, just the 2 different clay bodies, sometimes I'll throw it on the wheel and you'll get that type of different effect and trim a glaze on it. Or I can take those and throw them on the wheel like this small one that I did, and you can see how it marbles it with clear right over the top. And it's a lot of fun. No glaze, just clear over the top. And I really like exposing the natural clay body, and it really shows, you know, the 2 different tones, 2 different marbles. Most of the time when people hear that it has no glaze on it, that it's just you know, the clay body, they love it. You know, they really love it. They sell well, and people appreciate it a little bit more. So you can make two matching ones. So if I use this one, I would have the same streak pattern in 2 of them. You know, and it's kind of neat to see 2 identicals. But it's a lot of fun. Try it. Thanks. I'll see you soon. Bye.